friends, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time stopping by, hello, my name is Chantel and I make planning and journaling videos. Every now and again you'll see some lifestyle things and a little bit of homeschool thrown in there. If that's something that interests you, I hope you would consider subscribing to this channel and leave it a thumbs up if you like this video. Today I'm doing a journal with me. I'm using my A5 size Leuchtturm 1917 dot grid notebook. I use this notebook for journaling purposes. I do every now and again do some brain dumping and some note taking, but for the most part I'll use this notebook to journal. I'll leave a link in my Amazon storefront so you can shop the same notebook if you're interested. I do receive a small commission if you use my link to purchase certain items I mentioned, so thank you in advance. What I'm trying to do right now is create a Dutch door kind of aesthetic. I like using the Dutch doors every now and again in my journal because it does add a little spice, a little aesthetic. It makes it look nice to the eye. And right now I'm just rounding out the corners. I created a straight edge. Kind of didn't want it to be straight edge, so I want to round out the corners. And I'll also leave a link to this paper rounder in the description box below. And so my purpose in doing this, I am writing out my learning goals and routines today. I've been studying Spanish on and off since about high school, but more seriously, late of 2021. I'm wholeheartedly trying to be more consistent in my learning, and that's why I wanted to just map out my goals that I have for Spanish, as well as an actual routine that I can stick to and just get some journaling done at the same time. Learning Spanish is fun for me, but at the same time it is challenging, and when it's at critical moments when I really want to give up, I try to reflect on the reason why I started learning in the first place. And for me, I have two reasons. The first is that I would love to share God's word with folks in my community in their native tongue. I'm always looking for ways to grow spiritually, and I think taking up another language, sorry guys, it's my dog in the back, Neptune. So I think taking up another language and sharing God's word in that particular language is one loving way for me to grow spiritually. The second reason is that I genuinely want to be conversational in the language. I grew up in predominantly Spanish-speaking neighborhoods, and I was always around the language pretty much, even in school. So I've picked up a few words along the way, and over the years, as I mentioned before, I've even took up the language in high school. So I've gotten pretty okay with some basic grammar, conjugation, and just simple vocabulary, but never to the point of being able to think, speak, write, and read and understand in Spanish. So that's where I'm at now. Fast forward to 2023, I'm still learning, but with intention. My journey is very slow, but I am making progress. I do get frustrated sometimes because I feel like I should be at this level and I'm not there yet. However, I still can see my growth. I can read way better than I can speak and write in Spanish, and even at work, I'm able to help customers on a basic level. So for me, that's growth, because just last year, I wasn't able to do any of the former, and I'm quite pleased with how far I've come. But I still have lots of work to do. Honestly, I really feel that I'll be learning Spanish for a really long time, because it's not my native tongue and there's just so many words to comprehend. I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I can say that I know everything there is to know about speaking Spanish or how to speak the language. However, at minimum, I can get myself to at least conversational, and I like to be there in about 1 to 2 years. So what I'm doing right now is just jotting down certain goals I have in mind for my language learning journey. I really don't have a time frame for each goal. I'm just writing down on the surface where I want to be in my language learning journey. And I think this would help me a lot to kind of buckle down and zone in on certain things that I need to do throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the months, and just try to figure out what kind of, where I am at in the current day in my journey. Helps me to track how far I'm going and how much more work that I have to do. And also just to help me not to be as frustrated, because again, like I said, I do see that I am making growth, but sometimes I get frustrated as anybody else would. So just writing down my goals will kind of help put things in perspective. It'll help keep me to see my progress, and it'll help me be a little bit gentle on myself in my language learning, if that makes any kind of sense. So what I want to do is just kind of speed through this video, or just speed things up a little bit, so that you're not just sitting in silence looking at me write stuff down. And then I'm going to come back a little bit with some more thoughts on language learning. So now what I'm doing is flipping the page over and writing out my actual language learning routine. The front side, I have my language learning goals, and so the reverse side, I have a language learning routine. And this is what's going to help to keep me accountable throughout the day, throughout the weeks, throughout the months to come in this journey, throughout this journey. This is what's going to help really just put everything in perspective, because it is going to be a breakdown of key action steps, key things that I need to do, key things that need to be set in place in order for me to continue on in this language learning journey. So every day, literally every day, I want to do something revolving around the language, whether that's working in an app, working online, reading, writing something down, listening to something. Every day I should be doing something that revolves around the Spanish language. I think this would be really beneficial for me, especially someone like me that moves at a slow pace. If I do something every day, I feel like I can still make the progress, regardless how slow my pace is in learning the language. So I am breaking up each day of the week, and I'm giving myself about 3 things to do during the day. Each day does look a little different. Some days might mimic each other, but for the most part, it is just 3 things that I kind of want to focus on. And with that, I'm being realistic and giving myself 3 things to do. For some people, that might be a lot of things. For others, it might not be enough. For me, it's realistic for me. With these 3 things, I'm not spending a significant amount of time on them, because be honest, I don't have that much time in a day to take up an extra language, another language. So I have to be realistic in my schedule, in my routine. Some of these things I'm only giving myself about 15 minutes to do. Other things I would give myself, like for example, if I'm writing in Spanish, I'll tell myself, okay, I want to write 1 page, as a journal entry in Spanish. Let's do that today. Or if I'm watching TV, I'll give myself about 30 minutes to watch something in Spanish. Or I might play a podcast episode that might be 45 minutes long. So it's something like that. I want to keep my routine as realistic as possible, because I want to stick to it. Plenty of times in the past, I've made routines and schedules that let's just say they don't even exist anymore today, because they were really unrealistic. It wasn't anything that I could really follow. And I had to look at that and say to myself, like, girl, you need to make this doable for you. You can't do what everybody else is doing, and you got to do what you can do, and just to respect the fact that, okay, you're learning at a slow pace, but you are learning. And so with that, I think giving myself three tasks to do a day is more than enough for me to kind of like soak things in, really process what I'm learning, actually really learn things at the same time, because you can do these tasks and set things and routines for yourself in regards to language learning and not really be retaining anything. So that's not my intention. Whatever I'm doing throughout the days, I want to make sure that I'm retaining it. So I need to make it as attractive and doable as possible so that the things get accomplished. So I am jotting down all of my tasks for the week, 3 things for each day. And then Friday through Sunday, I'm kind of doing a little mashup of several things that would include reading, a little bit of writing, working with some Spanish apps, and also listening to the language as well. I do want to start incorporating listening more to music in Spanish, and I think I took a class last year, and the instructor was saying that different things that you enjoy already, kind of like incorporate that into your routine, because it makes it easier to soak in the language. So if you enjoy listening to music, why not listen to some Spanish music? So I've tried that. I do actually enjoy it. I found a couple of genres that I like, and it's nice. It's very nice, and I think I want to continue to do that. So also, I enjoy reading. I like to read fiction novels, thrillers, and psychological thrillers in particular. So there's a few books that I have on my list, my TBR list, to read in Spanish so that it can help me soak in the language. So right now what I'm doing is just kind of looking over my goals that I wrote down. I have quite a few, but again, these are goals that will last me throughout the journey, and it's not for like the whole entire journey. It's just a starting point where I would like to accomplish. And then I'm just here looking at an actual routine. This routine is tentative. Life happens, things change, my mood changes, how I feel about things change, all of that stuff. So it might never stay like this. I might add things, I might take things out. It really just depends where I'm at in my language learning journey. So what about you? Are you learning a new language? How has it been going for you? What does it look like for you? Do you have any tips on taking up another language? Do you want to take up another language but are maybe a little reluctant to? I'd love to hear all about it, and feel free to share your journal experience or even lack of learning a new language in the comment section below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and hearing me ramble and go about with talking about my language journey. If you gained any value or just want to show your support for this channel, please remember to hit that like button and or subscribe so you can get all of my latest content. Stay well and stay safe. Be sure to say kind things to yourself and others, and see you next time.